So right after Yosef lets the brothers know who he is, have all of the emotion, all of the crying, the tears, the connection, and Vayitav bnei Paro. The pasuk then tells us that in hearing all of what's going on, and clearly word travels fast, this news that Yosef was really part of this family, and he now is reunited with his brothers. His brothers will probably come down, as Yosef said. You have to bring Yaakov down here right away. We need to take care of him, and this is the place where we can sustain him. So this was good in the eyes of Paro. Well, why was it good in the eyes of Paro? What did Paro like about this situation? So it says the Seforno, Shechoshav shemikan ve'elech tia hashkochas Yosef al oretz lo kashkochas ger manhig ava kashkochas ezrach choshev l'sheves baretz hu v'zaro. Because he says that there's a difference, Paro calculated, there's a difference between somebody who works in a land from the point of view of a ger manhig. I'm here, but I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I'm here for the duration, for the time being, I should say. But we'll see. So I keep my options open. I keep my ears open. That's sort of the mentality that a person who's a ger has, because I know my roots are in Eretz Yisrael, so I'm not really here permanently. But so that is a different type of commitment compared to the Ashkochas Ezrach, he says. But if you are entrenched and you're sort of like a real full-fledged citizen, Choshev L'Sheves Baretz Hu V'Zara, where you and your children intend to live in this land, it's a different type of anhaga, different type of the way you conduct yourself and the way you're manig, the way you lead. Your leadership is different. And in this regard, you will be mashkiach with all your heart to do good for the land and all of its inhabitants. This is a pretty incredible statement that the Sephron is making, and pretty, deep. To get, Paro clearly, these were people, again, we see, a number of times in Chazal that just because somebody is not necessarily the most noble person, but in the Torah's milieu of individuals, we can't really, attribute to them, shallow perspectives. They were deep people, and they were insightful people, and they were, in certain ways, great people. So you have a Paro here who had this understanding, who certainly knew kochas and nefesh, who certainly understood the way people operate. And he's saying, and Paro understood, and this is something that, here he was experiencing this incredible leader, who did everything for the land. There was nothing lacking. There was nothing, you'd say, well, everything, the level of intricacy, the level of focus, the level of commitment was off the charts. But despite all that, apparently what we have within us, the kochas nefesh we have, it's limited based on certain perspectives. We're part human. And if a person has a different frame of reference from the fact that he's no longer just being a temporary leader, he's not the ger, but he's now the Ezrach. This is what Paro understood about Yosef. I'm going to get a different performance out of him. So it wasn't like Paro really had any tinus. He didn't have any tinus. He understood. He understood that Yosef can bring all that he can bring, but he can only bring a certain level if he sees himself as somebody who is temporarily in the land. He's not permanently here. But the minute he gets to the level where he'll feel, I'm entrenched here, I'm setting up shop here, this is where I belong, this is my place, and I'm going to become a permanent residence, that's a whole different ballgame. And again, in this particular case, I'm not sure that Yosef could have brought different, a different level, because he wasn't the Ezrach. In this particular case, you see that conditions change, and those conditions can lead. As much as you thought you gave everything you had, you didn't really give everything you had. There's more to be given, but so in some situations the conditions have to change. You have to be an Ezrach. If you're not an Ezrach, he can't give Ezrach commitment and Ezrach motivation. So I guess in those situations, I guess the only, the real, the lesson that we can learn is that if we can change certain conditions about what where we're at and what we're doing and how we're doing it, we can create conditions where now I'm able to give more of myself to a particular endeavor. Then that's what I have to try to do if it's possible. In this case, it wasn't possible until Yaakov and his sons came to Mitzrayim. But you also see from here just the deep reservoir of kochos that we have. That sometimes it's not really necessarily about the conditions which can draw out from us kochos that we never thought we had. I don't know if you would have asked Yosef when he was working, I don't know, maybe did he realize this aspect? Did he say, yeah, I'm giving you everything I have as a ger? If you turn me into it, if I would be an Ezrach, I would give you more paro, but I can't because I'm not an Ezrach. So that's it's an interesting question. Did Yosef realize it, and could Yosef have done anything to bring up more kochos? Could be not. It could be that's just the nature of who we are. That until certain pressures are brought to bear and certain realities are brought to bear, we can't. We're limited, but we're human. We're limited. So it's at least the recognition of that point is certainly important. And if we are able to change the commitment, sometimes if we're a worker and we're always looking around, what's a better offer? Maybe that very looking around limits the level of commitment we can bring to this particular endeavor. Maybe that's taka. You have to weigh each situation. Is that really so proper? If we're overly sort of have one foot out the door, that's going to compromise the commitment that we have to show to the place that we're at right now. So it's something to definitely think about, but maybe even more fundamentally, we just see the layers within a person. And sometimes these layers, and this is what really Chazal talk about, a lot of the layers are not removed from us. A lot of the layers of commitment are just a question of what we can bring to bear based on the work, the effort, the energy we focus upon. This is where what Musar is supposed to do for us in terms of focusing, clearly just moving away from the idea of a workplace, which is certainly important because we have achrayus to the people working for, but just in terms of the ultimate achrayus of avodas Hashem. So I'm giving my Yiddishkeit everything I have. Well, are we? Are there situations that we can put ourselves in that can bring out a greater level of commitment? Are there things that we can do to make us more committed and more pure and more dedicated to avodas Hashem? There might very well be. We might think we're giving everything we have, but certainly by thinking and analyzing and delving into the conditions that exist in our lives and what it is that that maybe maxes out at a certain point. But if we were able to maybe either look deeper into ourselves or find different situations that would allow us to give more to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we'd find that we could do more. We could put ourselves in situations where we can learn more or have a deeper sense of commitment, more being more makbid, more pure in our mitzvahs, whatever the situation might be. But it's an incredible sephora to show that certainly on the surface you'd see Yosef, you'd say it's not shaykh. Yosef was as committed and as loyal as one could possibly be. But despite all that, yet we see that there was more. There's more within us. Mez Hashem, our job is to tap deeper and deeper into ourselves to bring about that level of depth of purity and of commitment to the greatest degree possible.